Right, first up this week, the biggest critics of brands, I would suggest, are the South African youth, that fickle and fussy 18 to 24-year-old bracket. They often lead the way forward with incomes to picking up and then using a brand, and then would be the first to drop them. Now, all of that is put together in a useful annual survey. It's conceptualized and managed by HDI Youth Marketeers, that in this particular survey looks at how advertising resonates with this market. The MD, Jason Levin, is with us. Welcome, and thanks very much for joining us. The holy grail of advertising, I would suggest to you, is the youth endorsement. That's what brands are after. Is that true?
It is. I mean, and there's as wired as young people are, they're still big consumers of advertising. So in the survey, against the question of how interested are you in advertising, between quite interested and very interested, the answer is 80%. So they're definitely interested in advertising. They're, as we know, hyper interested in brands and extremely vocal consumers. So
but are they engaging with advertising?
In a multitasking environment, I mean, there's no question in our minds that if they're flipping through a magazine, they're also BBMing. If they're watching TV, they're also worrying about what's on radio, what has to happen next in homework or their varsity assignments. So they are multitaskers or parallel taskers. So they're giving advertising messaging airtime, but not 100% concentration, no.
Is traditional advertising as we know it working for this market?
It's working, interestingly, in traditional big above-the-line mediums like television as an entertainment mechanism. And we also have to bear in mind that it's a very small percentage of advertising that does resonate as entertainment. It's literally 5% or less. So where brands are getting the entertainment factor right in channels like television, they're resonating. And in about half of the instances of where the ad is well-liked, the brand is remembered. So if we're speaking about less than 5% of ads that are entertaining, and half of those being both entertaining and brand remembered.
Hey! I'm Khuza, and you're looking at the new CEO of Nando's. Nando's has hired me, a well-known comedian, to tell you that they are not changing everything. Nah, man. They're sticking to the same techniques and tactics they've had since 1987. Woo! But why? Well, it's my job to find out. Flame grilled. Nice. But you know what you guys could do with? Your own special sauce. 5 great sauces. Impressive. I'm watching you. Like a chicken. So, can Nando's make really, really good chicken without changing everything? It's flame grilled peri-peri flavor. It's 24-hour marinade. Even without changing their logo.
The percentages aren't that high, but if you hit the bullseye, the effect is great.
Okay, let's look at the work or the survey itself. The awards are divided into traditional categories. Who breaks through? What are some of the brands that are really getting this right?
In youth, the repeat winners over the years that we've done the survey and awarded the awards are brands like KFC, Coca-Cola, Chicken Licken.
Hey guys.
Where have you been?
I just picked up a burger on the way home. Yeah, a big burger too. Just sitting there, next to me. In the box. Smells so fresh. And looks so good. Man, I just couldn't resist. I ate that burger right there. Chill. I got you guys a burger too. Oh, burger.
Chicken Licken, for instance, has been in the order for the last 3 or 4 years with
because the ads are funny.
Yeah, exactly, with tactical, often low budget, ad hoc, but they don't obviously in the brand stakes compete with a KFC.
For me, KFC has been a family meal. Well, they love it at home. I will admit that I have been boycotting McDonald's for years and years, but they have won me over again because on my student budget, there is no better place to go.
Let me tell you what I find quite interesting. If you look at the print and the outdoor category, car brands rate highly with kids.
Yeah.
Surely there's a disconnect there. There's an anomaly there.
The other big survey that we run on brands is obviously the Sunday Times Generation Next survey, and motor is so high involvement purely as brand, not as communication in that
Just
survey
because
as well.
it's ubiquitous, because we see it all the time.
South Africans, certainly boys, and from a very young age, are petrol heads, but girls are also
5, 6, 7 years old.
literally that, yeah. From late preschool to foundation phase primary, yeah. They're petrol heads, and girls are even interested in cars as status and image symbols. So we get very high readings on the motor category, and in outdoor, it's very hard for anything, including fragrance and fashion, to beat motor.
BMW is cool because the image has a way of catching people's eyes.
Does that mean that the advertisers are getting it right or missing the mark when kids like the work that they're doing? I mean, car advertising is not aimed at a 5-year-old.
I think it's definitely not directly aimed at a 5-year-old, but dads, I assure you, are very reluctant to buy cars that their kids don't want to travel in. So the fact that your 7-year-old is telling you that a BMW is much more desirable than a Buick...
Come on, Jason, pull the other one. Are you telling me a 7-year-old drives consumer choice when it comes to a purchase like a car?
I don't think they're the key influencer. I think they're a significant influencer.
Yeah. That is absolutely fascinating. The television category. In fact, before we get to the television category, let's stay on that outdoor list. Rolls-Royce. Come on, explain that one to me. Is it just a good piece of advertising?
It's not incredible, to tell you the truth. It's a very simple piece of advertising. It's the launch ad for the Rolls-Royce Ghost, and there the appeal is for the product. A small Rolls-Royce holds enormous appeal for young South Africa.
Brand marketers should really practice more honesty about their brand, sticking to your actual brand identity and relaying that all the time, because it doesn't help you being fake.
I tell marketers that one of the best things you can do for your advertising campaigns are make it exciting and make it catchy.
Now let's move on to that television category. All iconic global brands, from what I can discern. Sprite is there, Coca-Cola is there, Axe deodorant is there.
I can't seem to make you mine. Can't sit around all the time. Can't you see what you're doing to me? You fill my heart with misery. With every breath.
Twist things your way.
Are you going to tell me they get themselves there because the tonality, the entertainment tonality is right?
It is. In the case of Axe, obviously it's a very youth-focused brand. So Axe do well both for the brand and for the execution, as do Sprite, Coca-Cola, Nike. They're very youth-focused brands. But sometimes in the TV category we see brands that aren't youth-focused at all. But the tonality, the storyline, the characters have youth resonance for some reason.
I think Kayoba is a lot cooler than just Stuart because it reminds me of the World Cup, and it was kind of like the slogan for the World Cup.
DSTV and Pick and Pay. DSTV always promotes, especially to kids, like small tips to save electricity.
I really like Pick and Pay for the fact that they present themselves as a very healthy brand. They can compete against brands like Woolworths, and at the same time they're more affordable than Woolworths. I really go to Pick and Pay. I buy anything Pick and Pay.
This year's winner are all youth-focused brands and on the money in terms of the messaging and the tone of the ad. Ads like Nike Write Your Future and the Sprite commercial are huge, epic ads.
Well, they're big productions, aren't they? Mini movies.
The Nike Write Your Future is a $24 million ad. But it sits side by side with the Topsy Foundation Selena, which is a cause marketing advert, which is a shoestring budget. So although young adults and teens revere production values, they also revere spoofy, irreverent, shoestring, low-budget, clever commercials.
But they're also looking for inspiration. They're also looking for a message. One of the special awards that you make in this survey is the FNB, the Inspired by You ad. So that they look. It's not just the fluff they're looking for. It's something deeper that they crave. Or am I just being too worthy here?
No, you're right. It's hard for any communication to beat funny. If it's funny, it's on the money, as we say in the Khuza survey. But if you get emotive messaging right, and very, very few of the emotive messages we test actually resonate. But if you get it right, you get it right. And the FNB huge billboard, which was "Today this is the greatest country in the world," that did it for young South Africa.
Hand on the heart stuff.
Yeah.
Some slogans really annoy me. What really annoys me is when they repeat. It's good, and it annoys me not when they repeat the name of the company. So I think, for example, say Outrance. Yes, really, Outrance.
This is all advertising 101. It often amazes me that the advertising agencies get it wrong. But thank you very much for joining us. The HDI Youth Marketeers MD Jason Levin with us. Now, we've put the results of the Khuza Awards on our Facebook page. We'd like you to share your thoughts on the winners and the losers. By the way, there's also a very interesting ongoing debate about the similarities between the Levi's Go Forth campaign that we showed you and the new Puma ad. Later on the show, how journalists deal with post-traumatic stress disorder. But coming up, more in the brand space as we look at a clever new tool that measures customer engagement.